here momentarily. Okay, so again, I just want to bring that to your attention. Again, the DEQ meeting is downstairs. As soon as we break, we should go down there. They're going to have a presentation and then take questions. And we've got t-shirts in the back if you haven't gotten one. And we hope we got you to sign in here. So is Flora here?
Joanna's here, as we'll be ready in a minute.
We will be providing simultaneous translation as well for our Spanish speakers. And we'll be setting that up momentarily as well. So please bear with us for just a moment. If you haven't signed in,
You want to take a moment to
Sure. ¿Hay alguien más? ¿Hay alguien más que necesita el tipo de interpretación? Como por ejemplo, we have two workbooks on the way. Sí.
if we want to make an announcement about the equipment,
Yes. Estamos esperando que lleguen dos personas más. Bilingual, right?
We're going to have a brief announcement about translation services, and then we're going to get started. So if you haven't signed in, we can also pass around the sign-in sheet so folks can take their place. And thanks so much for your patience.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Estamos creando un espacio bilingüe en inglés y español. Tenemos atrás en la esquina la mesita con el equipo de interpretación. Si se pueden acercar ahí, gente que prefiera escuchar en español para agarrar su equipo. So we have just a table at the back in the right corner. Anyone who wants to hear in Spanish can approach the table to get your headset and you can hear in Spanish. Y nada más el recordatorio de que hacemos, por ejemplo, esta señal, si necesitamos pedirles que hablen por favor más despacio. Just a reminder, we'll do this hand signal y we need to ask you to slow down. Y esta, si necesitamos pedirles que hablen más alto, si no los escuchamos. This one, if we need to ask you to speak louder and we can hear you. So you can, sometimes it just means you have to speak closer to the mic, right? A veces nada más es que se acerquen más al micrófono. So yeah, thank you for everyone's commitment to make this an accessible space. Y gracias al compromiso de todos de hacer este espacio accesible. Again, if you want to hear in Spanish, please check out the equipment on the table. Y nuevamente, si quieren escuchar en español, por favor, acérquense a la mesita atrás para que agarren equipo. Gracias. Thank you.
thank you, Flora. I always need a reminder to speak slowly. Thank you. Okay, we'll start. My name is Glenn Bessa, and I'm the board chair for Friends of Chesterfield. We're part of the No New Gas Coalition. If you check out nonewgas.org, you can see all of our members. I just want to acknowledge a lot of them that are here and represented. The Southern Environmental Law Center is representing a number of individuals with regard to that matter. But we also have the Sierra Club, we have Appalachian Voices, we have Chesterfield Climate Action Network, we've got Virginia Interfaith Power and Light, and who did I leave out that's here? Say again?
Bridging the Gap.
Bridging the Gap, Virginia. Thank you very much. My apologies. And with that, we're going to get started. This is a press conference, so we're going to have a few brief speakers. And at that point in time, we're going to open up for questions from the reporters, okay? Because your questions can get answered downstairs, okay? As an audience. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and start with Jason. Jason, would you like to come up? There you go, Jason. Thank you.
Hi y'all, I just wanted to start out by thanking everybody for coming out tonight, taking time. Like Glenn said, I'm Jason Woodby. I'm a resident here in Chesterfield. I live about 5 miles from the proposed plant. Actually, one of the earliest events I attended about this project was here at this hotel. It was a presentation and a Q&A hosted by Dominion in November of 2023. And I remember the representative that night being really hostile to answering any questions that were asked by the citizens. I remember them trying to get us to walk around independently and ask questions off microphone one at a time, instead of doing the Q&A as a group. I remember the community standing firm and demanding that we ask and receive our questions as a group that night. They have since changed how they structure their events. That night I asked how much the project would cost, and Dominion acted like they didn't even have an estimate. It took them 2 years to finally give the public an answer. They even tried to gaslight us that night into thinking that the plant's ability to burn diesel fuel when the price of methane gas goes up was some type of positive. That really set the stage for what this entire process has been like. Dominion has tried through hook and crook to get this dirty plant built. They even went so far as to move locations to get around the need for a new zoning permit. The community was showing up to Board of Supervisors meetings and making it clear repeatedly that we didn't want this. And Dominion has done everything they can to go around the citizens and exclude us from this process. Tonight is our opportunity to ask DEQ about this project and the air permit that it requires. So I think it's a good reminder to review some of the toxic pollution that will come from this plant. This plant will release over 150 tons of particulate matter size 2.5 every year. This is the smallest size of particulate matter. It can get into the deepest part of our lungs, cause lots and lots of respiratory issues. This plant will also emit over 27 tons of sulfur oxides every year. This is another chemical that is harmful to human health. The plant will also emit 350 tons of nitrogen oxides each year, over 825 tons of carbon monoxide, over 162 tons of volatile organic compounds, and over 18 tons of sulfuric acid. The plant will also emit over 2.2 million tons of carbon dioxide every year. All of these pollutants are dangerous to us. All of these would increase cancer and asthma rates in our community and would worsen the overall health of Chesterfield as a whole. Thank you again for coming out tonight.
I want to just mention that Jason is a teacher at Carver College in the Career Academy in Chesterfield County. Thank you so much, and he's a member of our Friends of Chesterfield Board of Directors. Okay, with that, is Betsy Alvarado here? Okay, Betsy. Betsy's a member of CASA, and we're going to have some consecutive interpretation with her talk here. I just wanted to say, because we kind of had a lot of moving pieces when we got started here, that we're here about the gas plant, and I just want to point out to you, the Southern Environmental Law Center has a really fantastic fact sheet that they just got here. I would recommend that you get it before you go down here. Lots of information, as they make it very clear. This gas plant is dirty, unnecessary, and expensive, and we're going to tell DEQ that, okay? Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Betsy. I'm a U.S. citizen and the daughter of Salvadoran immigrants into this country fleeing violence. Thanks to their bravery, I grew up in a country where I've had opportunities, but I've also seen the injustices our communities face: discrimination, pollution, and decisions made without including us. Today, as an active member of CASA, a national organization that fights for the rights of immigrant, Black, and Indigenous communities, I also joined the fight for climate justice, because we know that our communities are the most affected when polluting plants are built near where we live. That is why I strongly oppose the gas plant that Dominion wants to build in Chesterfield County, where I have lived for over 15 years. This project poses a serious risk to public health, especially for children, seniors, and people with respiratory conditions. Dominion claims this plant is needed due to the growth of data centers, but that does not justify continuing to build the dirty gas when there are cleaner and safer alternatives. What's more, Chesterfield is just the beginning. If this plant gets approved, more will follow. And as always, it will be the Black and Latino communities who are hit the hardest, just as we've already seen with the coal ash pollution in this area. I'm here because I believe that everyone deserves to breathe clean air, live in healthy communities, and have a voice in the decisions that affect us. No more gas, no more pollution. We just want a clean and dignified future for all of our families. Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. At this time, I'd like to invite Rachel James, an attorney with the Southern Environmental Law Center. Thank you, Rachel.
coordinators and collaborators and contributors for this event. It's wonderful to see so many people here, and your leadership here in Chesterfield County is really important, so thank you. Now, there are a number of problems with Dominion's gas plant proposal and the related review process. But there are just two things I want to leave you with this evening. First, the county never resolved that the site is suitable. And to our knowledge, DEQ never made this determination either. Here's why that's important. In a 2020 decision, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals concluded that when issuing a permit, the law requires a determination of whether a particular facility is suitable for a particular site. While the law today allows for DEQ or a locality to make this decision, DEQ can only defer to a locality if the locality actually makes an affirmative determination. Here, Chesterfield County has not. DEQ moving forward without this decision is out of step with what the law requires. Second, this plant is dirty and expensive. No two ways about it. Burning methane is bad for our health. If allowed, this plant would spew out several harmful contaminants, including fine particulate matter, which is one of the most deadly air pollutants. And this dirty gas plant brings with it enormous costs. $4.5 billion for construction and financing costs and Dominion's profit. Another $3.5 billion for fuel costs. And on top of that, health-related costs associated with the gas plant are estimated at nearly $3.2 billion. That's $3.2 billion that people here in Chesterfield County would pay for more emergency room visits, more hospital admissions, and more healthcare costs to treat illnesses like asthma, lung cancer, and heart attacks. That's why we won't stand by and let bad decisions go unchallenged. We are here, and we are saying in no uncertain terms, no new gas plant, period.
Our final presenter is Nicole Martin, who's the president of the Chesterfield NAACP, and I would just ask that all our speakers not wander too far so they can answer questions while we're with these statements. Nicole?
Good evening, everyone. I want to first start off by thanking you all for being here. Thank you to all the organizers who put this wonderful program together. Good afternoon, and thank you once again for the opportunity to speak with you all today. Like stated, my name is Nicole Martin. I currently serve as the president of the Chesterfield County NAACP. And I'm here today on behalf of the residents of Chesterfield County who are deeply concerned and quite frankly outraged by the way this proposed Dominion Energy gas plant has been pushed forward without meaningful public input. Let me be clear, Chesterfield residents are not simply saying, not in my backyard. We are saying not like this. Not without transparency, not without facts, and absolutely not without the involvement of the people who live, breathe, raise their children in the very community where Dominion Energy seeks to break ground. The Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors have the authority and the responsibility to involve the public in this site suitability process. But instead of engaging with us, they chose to shut us out. They refused to hold a hearing, refused to listen to the concerns of the people that were elected to represent, and refused to create a transparent process. That is not public service. It is a blatant disregard. Now let's talk about the air permit that Dominion is seeking. It should have never made it this far. Not only are the long-term environmental and health consequences for nearby residents deeply concerning, but the very justification for the plant is flawed. Dominion has repeatedly failed to provide the complete and transparent information about why this plant is necessary. They talked about reliability and growth, but they failed to acknowledge the full range of alternatives that could meet the energy demand without polluting our air, harming our health, or accelerating the climate crisis. The truth is, Dominion can meet Virginia's energy demands without this new gas plant. Renewable energy resources, battery storage, grid modernization, and energy efficiency measures are not just theoretical solutions. They're proven, practical, and cost-effective. We don't need more fossil fuel infrastructure to keep the lights on. What we need is the will to embrace innovation over convenience, long-term sustainability over short-term profits. Yes, data centers are projected to increase energy demand, but the growth is uncertain. Even if that demand materializes, the solution is not building another fossil fuel plant, especially one-sided without transparency or accountability. The people of Chesterfield deserve clean air, environmental justice, and a voice in decisions that actually affect our future. This is about more than just a gas plant. This is just a pattern. This is about a pattern of pushing projects beyond closed doors, leaving residents scrambling to catch up. It's a pattern of minimizing risk over benefits and refusing to engage in honest dialogue with the people who live with these consequences. I urge the Department of Environmental Quality to recognize what this process is like. Transparency, community input, and full disclosure. Do not let this air permit move forward on the back of inclusion and misinformation. The people of Chesterfield County are watching. We will not be silent, and we are counting on you to do what the Board of Supervisors would not. Listen to us, respect us, and protect the place that we call home. Thank you all.
Because we may have some questions from reporters. And I'll just say this, because the meeting starts in about 10 minutes or so, we'll keep our question answers short, okay? And then you can follow up with them on one-on-ones, okay? With that, who would like to ask the question? Yes, you go first, Shannon.
Yeah, so Dominion is talking about how the coal plant that was there before is a lot more dirty and that this option is significantly less in emissions, making it a better project. What's kind of your response to hearing those thoughts?
Rachel, would you like to take that?
Sure,
one?
yeah, sorry.
I think I read what you said.
I think the question was about Dominion projecting this plant to be cleaner.
Cleaner than the coal plant that was there before.
Okay, I think as a first, as a base point, that coal plant retired in 2023. So Chesterfield has been enjoying the benefits of not having that coal fluidity in the plant. So he's doing a comparison of bringing something that's louder or cleaner that was once there. Oh, sorry. Okay, I felt like I was yelling, so good to know. I was starting off by saying the starting point was a false start to just do a comparison between the gas plant and the coal plant. So the coal plant that was there retired its last units in 2023. So Chesterfield has enjoyed the benefits of no coal emissions from then to now. So to do a comparison between a new gas plant and say that it's cleaner than the coal plant is really a false comparison. Bringing a gas plant that pollutes to a county that was without pollution is just bringing more pollution here.
And just to follow up on that, that coal plant was in service for about 7 years. Can you kind of talk about the impacts on health and the community with that coal plant, maybe any differences you've seen in the last couple of years about it?
Sure, I can't speak to all of the details like the numerics, but I can speak to at least the Chesterfield County. I want to say there's a plan for Chesterfield County for its community development, and in that plan it indicates that air quality has improved in the community due to the shutting down of coal facilities like the Newman's coal plant. And so I can refer to you that county. I'm going to say publication, but off the top of my head, I can't give you numbers for what the percentages of all is.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so y'all have really grown from just being Friends of Chesterfield to a whole coalition. Are there other gas plants or gas projects y'all are looking at in the state?
I would just say not at this time. As we know, Dominion has proposed to build 6 plants, this being the first one. So we don't know where those other 5 may be. At this point in time, we have not tackled any other gas plants, but there are other ones popping up and we'll be taking a look at them.
Glenn, if the members of the media could use the mic, then the translation.
Her question was whether we were looking at other gas plants in terms of our coalition opposition. So, another question? Yeah, Thad?
Mike.
Yes, so, what reason were you given, if any, from the Chesterfield Board of Supervisors as to why there was no, public hearing, and when did you last hear from them on that matter?
Well, I guess I'll just take this. We have repeatedly asked for a hearing. We specifically want them to make a vote with regard to zoning issues and also with regard to this issue of site suitability. And they declined to do that. They are of the opinion that Dominion has everything it needs, and so they proceeded. That issue is being challenged in court, and it may take a long time for that to be resolved. But the answer is the county never held a hearing, and they declined to have it. You can ask them why. Yes.
So we're seeing lots of changes at the federal level as far as rules and regulations around fossil plants. Do you all feel like you still have the proper recourse or standing under state laws and regulations to file sort of challenges you want to do to the sort of like public challenges for this project?
So Virginia benefits from having strong state laws in this regard. So we have the Virginia Clean Economy Act as well as Virginia's Environmental Justice Act, which are two things that one set the bar for where we should be moving toward in terms of our energy provision, and then how we do that. That's the Environmental Justice Act. And this is actually a state issued permit, although it's informed by what the Clean Air Act requires. It's something that's actually issued by the state. So our state laws govern here, and we find that they're pretty strong and supportive of what we're advocating for here. So we're going to bring this one.
So we're working on we did a social study looking at the social impacts of this plan. Do you have any preliminary results on this study?
Repeat the question.
The question was inquiring about a social study in relationship to what impacts plant would be. Is that your assessment and question? Okay, I think you're referring to a community study, trying to get a sense. Okay, so yes. And the person who conducted that study is actually here sitting with you. But I will mention briefly that yes, that study was conducted, and the study was interested in understanding what the underlying conditions were for the community. So part of the problem in evaluating whether there would be a disproportionate impact to certain people who live here is that Dominion and DEQ didn't provide any underlying information to give anyone a sense of what conditions people are currently experiencing, to understand how a new gas plant could impact them, and if the impact would be different for different people. So we conducted that study to get some of that baseline information. And we understand that there are a number of people here in Chesterfield County who initially didn't know about the plant, first of all, and secondly, upon learning about the plant, had concerns because people in their community had health concerns like asthma, like heart attacks, like other cardiac conditions and other conditions. So we have some underlying information that indicates people here have some serious health conditions.
What are your thoughts on the states that alternative sources such as solar, battery, and wind will not be able to alone provide the power, the growing demand for power, and that natural gas plants like these, some of them are necessary?
So Dominion's analysis is flawed. I will say that full stop. SCLC has represented Appalachian Voices before the State Corporation Commission in something called the Integrated Resource Plan proceeding. And that proceeding is essentially evaluating the underlying plans behind how Dominion is planning to bring on additional resources. That planning process indicated that when we redo the modeling and use reasonable assumptions, that Dominion can actually meet the energy needs it's projecting by using things like battery and wind. It's really about planning better, as opposed to planning to continuing to use resources that need to be retired by 2045 per Virginia's law.
I just wanted to add that Dominion has had quite the history of fighting back and trying to prevent things like rooftop solar, residential rooftop solar from going in. So I have to agree that Dominion is definitely not kind of approaching this with the true intention of trying to meet energy demands. If they were, they wouldn't be fighting so hard to keep things like residential rooftop solar projects from happening here in the county.
We're really close to time here, and I would, I'm sorry. Okay, one more question. Okay, go ahead.
So Rachel, you mentioned the Virginia Environmental Justice Act. The company did an analysis and found that there's 22 of 24 census block groups that were identified to meet the criteria of that act. I guess, have you reviewed that analysis? Do you have any thoughts about it? And the community survey or study that you're doing, is that like a direct critique of that analysis by any chance?
So I'll start with the last question first. It is not a direct critique of the analysis. I would say it's a furtherance of what the analysis lacked. So as I mentioned earlier, that underlying information, the community study helps to establish that. But I will say a critique of Dominion's environmental justice analysis is that it stops at the desktop review. So those numbers you quoted in the 22 of 24 census block groups being environmental justice communities, there's just a list of sort of identifying who's there by census information and not a further review and analysis sourced from the community to understand what the needs and differences are across the community members who live there.
I'm going to just suggest if the reporters have any other questions for our speakers, that you all hang back and do that, because I want to make sure you get a chance to get down there to the DEQ meeting, okay? They'll be doing a presentation and we'll go from there. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate the report of the state.
A couple of us are going to help
Thank you so much.
lead y'all downstairs so we can go together, including Melissa, who's there in the back. All right, well, we're going to start.